Hello, guys. I made a mistake and got to work early. That's so crazy. I'm rushing. I'm like, I'm about to be late. I'm not at this corner by this time and this corner by that time. And realize that, girl, you 30 minutes early. So that means I would just be leaving my door right now. So I have time to give you a story time. Ooh, I love how that rhymed. And I wasn't even trying. All right, so what it is, you guys, it is your girl Cadillac. Yes, I'm Cadillac Dixon. I'm the Draw My Life prison wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice, hoping, because you got to hold your breath for justice, to see justice before all face to bleed. Yes, it's your girl Cadillac. So this story today, my testimony of being an advocate and the artism that I have to go through because I'm fighting for a righteous cause. I am fighting EVIL at its finest. And when you come up against a system, which you already know who is the king of this world. So when you're coming up against the system, you're going to meet EVIL like at its core. So a lot of times the way that this ism works, it was at one time overt. It was slap dab in your face. And even when it was overt, many people justified it. You can justify almost anything. You can make right wrong and wrong right. Remember, this world is in reverse. If heaven was hell and vice versa, if I told you go to heaven, would you say I cursed you? And a little nested testimony is that God showed me as a very young child this truth about the world. I caught this so long ago in my life. I was a little girl and I asked my mom, it seems like good is bad and bad is good. Like in each year, it feels like it just gets worse, that the more good you do, the more bad you're considered. The more bad you do, the more good you're considered. And my mother said, yes, you're right. I was a little girl. I don't even think I was in middle school yet, unless I just had started middle school. So I had that observation as a child. And it is very much true. I am fighting for a righteous cause. Jesus fought for justice, true justice, godly justice. That was not the only thing that he came for, but if he were here today, he would be doing the same cause. He does a lot more, but he would be the advocate for the prisoners. He would be the advocate for the unhoused and unhomed. He would be the advocate for the disabled. Of course, he's going to tell you to pick up your bed and walk, but he's still going to be an advocate for you. So to continue in doing the types of things Jesus would have done, like remember that WWJD back in the day? Had them bracelets in every color. That's exactly what Jesus would do. Love. You can't have, it's hard to separate justice and love. When you hand down justice without love, you're not really handing down God's true justice, right? And this system affected my life in many ways. Like, And it seems like from the beginning, I was exposed to so many things that, like, literally, it could have waited till later in my life and it might not have traumatized me the way that it did by being exposed to artism as a child. So now, because I go back and I'm telling what I went through, because it's my story and it's the truth. It's the truth. Not only is it the truth of what happened, it is my truth. So because I tell it, because honestly, it doesn't gain me anything for me to tell it. What do I get off of telling it? If you look, I told you my mission statement. My mission is not being accomplished. It's not happening. So what do I gain off of telling you the artism I went through as a child? I'm telling you so those that support the artism can stop, so that you can see the effects of it, though you feel like you're not really, your hand's not in the pot. It is when you allow these systems, because we honestly all together can make this change and we could move on with life. You would never hear another story about, people love to say, why is everything about RACE? You would never hear that grievance again. If you uproot it, because it's buried deep, uproot it, destroy the bitter root, then we can move forward. So it went from overt to covert. And covert is almost like the most insidious form, because now it can outright be denied. No, we're not doing that. We're not holding you back. We didn't obstruct your life. We didn't ruin your life. You're ruining your life. You allowed that to happen to you. You're just making excuses. I did a lot of study on narcissistic relationships. And I did a video, our narcissistic relationship with the justice system. It is a 2-tier system. You don't know because you never fall into the tier that we fall into. You fall into the way the justice system's supposed to work. Every now and then it does affect others that are not of the same hue as me, because they're poor. So yes, poor people definitely get a rougher time through that system. But no matter whether we're poor or middle class or other, we get a rougher time under that system. And that's just how it is. It's a 2-tier system. You don't see that second tier because they don't take you over to that tier. They immediately draft you right into the first tier, the one that is told to everybody this is how it is. So we as well think it's a 1 tier until it's time to go into that system, or until we observe our loved ones going through that system. That's when we're like, well, what this tier over here come from? Why I'm being walked back here over to this tier? No, this is the justice system you taught me about from childhood. This is how I'm supposed to be innocent till proven guilty, but not on the second tier. The second tier works different than innocent till proven guilty, allegedly. My opinions, right? So if we didn't have to keep covertly, our war is covertly, our battles covertly. We're not battling someone that is, and they never will admit that, yes, RACE is the reason that we did that. Even though my husband's attorney did say, yeah, the only reason they convicted him was because he's BLACK. He admitted it, but most are not going to admit that. They're going to say, no, it's for this other reason, or it's this other reason. But we, in the heart of hearts, know what it is. Just like when you're in a narcissistic relationship, you know that you are being victimized. and you know that they are perpetrating the victimization to you. Now, to bystanders, nobody understands that this is happening because they're not directly belittling you. They're not directly calling you. They're doing it insidiously where you know it, but onstanders don't realize that it's happening. So the onstander, like they have the victim, I forgot what it's called, but when you've been victimized so much and then you react, and then it's like, see, that's how they are, that's how they do. It's like that in a narcissistic relationship as well. So I do have a video, our narcissistic relationship with the justice system. So possibly I was exposed to artism as a young child because, well, it is, because God knows my from beginning to my end. So as a child, he knew that in my 40s, I'm going to be in the fight of my life for my family because my husband was wrongfully incarcerated for being BLACK. I could show you the evidence all day, but you're closed-minded, you're closed-eared, and you don't want to hear it and you don't want to see it. But you want everything else to be evidence-based. I can show you my evidence. My evidence is my whole long video that I had to break it down because it's so much overwhelming evidence of his innocence. But the one thing that convinces you of his guilt is his fact that he's BLACK. He had to have done it. So that trumps all my evidence of his innocence. So what brought all this on is because I had a little video and I was so going crazy when I seen this display of the first school, my elementary school, the first version of this school. It was all YT, right? And what's crazy is that, so let's go to the 80s. I attended this school as the only BLACK girl. My cousin and one other guy were the only two BLACK boys. I was treated differently. It's not being a victim. It's not being, it's not none of those things. It's telling you what happened. It happened in my life. It did. I rode the bus. And as we drove past the lake to go home, other kids that were not BLACK pointed to the lake and told me that's where they used to DROWNSLAVES. So I'm being a victim because I'm telling you what happened to me. I found out that I was BLACK because I always thought I was brown. I thought my mother was yellow. And I thought my classmates were pink or other shades of yellow. I found out I was BLACK because I went home running to my mother and I was like, Mom, this girl called me BLACK. I'm not. She said, yes, you are, Keita. I said, no, Mom, you're yellow. I'm brown. And they're pink. She said, no, Keita, you are BLACK. I shaved my hair off because my mother used to put cornrows. We're originally from Chicago. So coming from Chicago, an all BLACK city, to being the only BLACK girl in a small town in Florida. My mother had cornrows. Chicago, they call them French braids. She would French braid my hair. Well, she would have her friends do it, or she would try to do it. And the kids, I was the only one that looked like me in the school. Everyone else was of what I thought as a child were pink. They picked on my hair so bad. They made known that your hair is not like our hair. They used to sit up, oh, look at it, it's so amazing, it's the maze, let me get through the hair. Oh, you're like Medusa, you got snakes in your hair. This is what I was told as a little girl in like second and third grade. In an all YT school, and I was the only BLK girl. I was told these things. It bothered me. It hurt me until I shaved my head. Little kids are not just shaving their heads for no reason. Even when my little nephew took clippers to his head, it was two neighbor girls, and because our neighborhood was predominantly YT. We were the first black people. I'm sorry, YouTube. BLACK people to move into our neighborhood, having the house built from the ground up, right? They were making fun of his hair till he shaved the side of his head. It actually is the same thing I did, just a different generation. We're like, why did you try to do that? He didn't know how to cut his hair. He just took the razor and went straight through his hair. And my mother was just laughing like, what's wrong with you? Why would you do that? The little girls, they were YT. They were making fun of my hair. So because our hair is different, we're made fun of. So when I see a display of the first school that I went to when I came to this all YT town and was the only BLK girl in the school, was made fun of specifically because I was BLK, it's gonna take notice. And when I show that display, I'm also going to tell you my story, because now that school is not all YT. Because even when I seen the little kids from that school, I had been in that town, and they were getting donations for their school team, and I'm like, I was one of them. But at that time I was the only and it really drew my attention because it was all BLK girls, and it was like, whoa, these girls are not gonna have to go through what I went through at that school. And the counselor was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy, because now the school is almost predominantly BLK. But when you know further the history, that town was just like Rosewood and a lot of other BLK towns that we built. When people say pull yourself up by your bootstrap, we didn't even have boots, but we were pulling ourselves up by bootstraps, and we were creating our own things, our own functioning towns. We've always been resilient. We always tried to find workarounds of the system that is covertly obstructing us. That's why you don't see it unless you listen to the victim impact statement that we're telling you, but you don't want to hear it. You don't want to see the evidence of it. So you think we're just crying wolf, and we're just being victim, and we're just make everything about RACE, right? So that town was an all BLK town, and I didn't find this out until I was grown. I was in my 30s almost when I found that out. And I'm like, what? How could that have been a BLK town when I went there and it was nothing but YT people? And I was made fun of for being the only BLK person, and now you're telling me this was a BLK town? How? It was. And just like Rosewood and these other towns, the land was taken from us. We were driven out to settle in other areas, right? And for the longest, it was all YT until the late 70s, when the first BLK families started moving back there. Late 70s and mid 80s, when I went, that wasn't even 10 years. It hadn't even been 10 years of that town being reintegrated, little by little, not all at once, not mixed diversely at once, little by little. It hadn't even been 10 years before I was in that school as the only BLK girl. So when I see these artifacts of the first school and I'm scanning it looking for another BLK face and can't find one, and I'm like, oh my goodness, the history and where we are present day. That's the account I'm going to tell, because it's my history. It happened to me. It didn't happen to you. So you can appreciate it or you don't. I'm not going to, I don't disrespect people's history. If it happened to them, I'm going to respect their opinion of it, how it affected them, what they went through, their trauma behind it. I'm going to respect that because I wasn't there. I wasn't present. How can I, change your reality or the actual reality? Because it's not just your reality. It actually happened, right? So someone leaves a comment, oh, everything is always about RACE. Oh, I just love the internet. Well, guess what? The internet, amongst all other tools, we already are on the internet and cannot say what we truly need to say or want to say. There's no real just way, because we're in that 2-tier. We're in the tier that you don't see. There's no real way to get out of a wrongful conviction or out of other injustice, or when they wrongfully delete people with skin like mine and there's no justice for us. There's no way out of it but to advocate. Advocate means tell people what happened. Let them hear the truth. Let them hear the other part of the story. Not only let them hear the inculpatory evidence, let them hear the exculpatory evidence that has been conveniently deleted so that you see it only in that one way. A case is a 3D object, many multiple sides. It's not one side or the other. It is many. You need every piece so that you can make a sound decision. So just because I want my family back as a unit, my family was just broken apart because we're BLK. Even my husband, he's in a car with 3 YT people. He is the only BLK person. He is the only one doing time off of this fabricated crime. The only one. He wasn't even the driver of the vehicle. The driver of the vehicle was YT. The passengers were YT. And only the BLK guy goes to prison for 23 plus years and has 10 more to do. 10 plus more to do with no evidence against him. And you're saying I'm making it about race? Huh? Like, that makes no sense. So everything is not about RACE, but so many things that drastically affect our lives do happen to be. Those big, most important things like marriage and family and kids in my life have been affected by RACEISM, if I spelt it right. All right, guys, gotta go to work. It's your girl Cadillac.